boost your energy and reverse aging naturally. What is it you need to do to have boundless energy at any age? In other words, if by the time you're 50 or 60 years old, whatever you do, your energy level drops, and there's a reason for that. And how do you reverse it? I will explain to you in that video, so that at an elder age, you do not actually have this experience where your energy levels drop. You need energy, but you have to go and take a nap, and it becomes very frustrating. I've got clients who've been experiencing that, and I've been helping them, and I went to do some research to find out what is it they can do to rebuild their energy levels so that they have that energy capacity as they were in their 20s and 30s, so that they can continue operating and continue living a normal life without that frustration. I'm Alan Wallitz. I'm a nutrition expert. I help people restore their health using nutrition. So today I'm going to talk about the power of mitochondrial health. The mitochondria is an energy factory. That's where your energy reserves are, and it produces enough energy reserves. So when you've got enough energy reserves, means like your fuel tank is full, there's always a supply of energy, and it can always be converted into movement, into no more brain fog, so your mental alertness is there. You don't feel tired, digestion doesn't wipe you out in terms of energy, so you have always enough reserves to do whatever you want to do. So over 50 years old, your energy reserves drop. There's not much you can do, it drops. Even though you can have enough glucose, you can have enough fat in your body, your fuel tank is full, but it does not convert into energy. Why is that? Why does aging do that? So how do you reverse aging? This is not anti-aging, this is reversing aging, meaning at 50, 60 or 70 years old, you can have the energy levels of a 30-year-old. Is that possible? Yes. So stay with me, I'll show you how to do that so that you can actually do the steps, which is very simple. And it's nothing is new, it's just you have to implement it, and then you'll actually experience your boundless energy, right? So your source of energy is glucose and fat. So that's your source of energy, and the glucose and fat, what it does, this is your cell here. The fat arrives into the cell, and it arrives at the mitochondria. So this is the mitochondria. These are little energy factories. So they enter here, and out comes a form of energy reserve, which is called ATP. ATP is the currency of your body. So this is the universal form of energy which your muscles are going to use, which your digestive system is going to use, your brain is going to use. Every part of the body that needs energy, you have to have ATP. So as long as there's ATP, that's your currency. That is the one that turns into energy, and it gives you that vitality, that boundless energy, as I explained. So fat needs to be carried, has to arrive at the cell, at the membrane here. It has to enter the cell, it has to be allowed to enter the cell, has to arrive at the mitochondria, the energy factory here, and out comes the ATP. Same with glucose. Glucose has to arrive at the cells. There's what is called a receptor site here. With glucose here, you have insulin. The insulin carries the glucose. It docks here, like a ship docking at the dock, and it releases the glucose. The glucose travels through the cell into the mitochondria, and out comes ATP. So as long as you've got this reserve of ATP, you have energy. So as you can see, I've done a little graph here at 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years old. Your levels of ATP drop, even though your glucose or fat can be high, but because your ATP drops, which means your energy levels drop. Doesn't matter what you do. So, right. So what does one tend to do to try and force this to happen, to try and force the production of ATP? So even if there's fat, what tends to happen? The fat doesn't arrive in the cells. The glucose doesn't arrive in the cells. Or you're missing nutrients, supplements that you need that are preventing the conversion of the fat or the glucose into energy. So what do? You take caffeine, you take energy drinks, you take amphetamines. You try all these things. At the beginning it works because it's forcing the fat in, it's forcing the glucose in, but there's going to get to a point where that can't carry on. So it doesn't matter how much caffeine you take, the body is tolerating it. Now you have to double up your caffeine. So you double up your caffeine, your energy levels don't go better, don't go higher, they just keep dropping. It gets to a point where you get totally exhausted. So how do you change this? What do you need to take to convert the fat and the glucose into energy and without the need of caffeine? So there are certain nutrients that are missing. For example, for fat needs to be removed from your visceral fat. It needs to be removed from your tissues. There's fat tissues called adipose tissues. It needs to be removed. It needs to come out. So the fat is stored in your body now. How do you remove the fat? How do you put it in the blood vessel? how do you carry it to the cell? There's a protein that needs to attract that fat, to carry that fat to dock here. So now, when the fat has arrived here, what carries it through to the cells? What is inside here that you need it to convert into fat? So there's one key vitamin there called acetyl-L-carnitine. So if you've got acetyl-L-carnitine, that has been known to convert fat into energy. So you need to supplement this or eat your proper diet, which has supplies of acetyl-L-carnitine, which will convert the fat into energy. Inside the mitochondria, you need to have like one key vitamin, vitamin B3, niacinamide. It helps with the conversion of the food, the fat, and turns it into ATP. It's part of a process. There's a biochemical process that happens. You need magnesium. Magnesium is needed for every enzyme activity. So from one step to the next, there's enzymes that are involved. The enzymes it facilitates the chemical reaction that eventually turns into ATP. So if you don't have magnesium, the ATP doesn't get produced. So when your ATP doesn't get produced, this drops. So you have to add magnesium. When energy is being produced, there's a lot of waste, exhaust. The exhaust is toxic. So you have to remove the exhaust, or you have to detoxify the exhaust. So you need some antioxidants, which is called CoQ10, vitamin C, vitamin E. There's another one called glutathione. So these are antioxidants. They prevent the waste from going to damage the cell, because if you also damage your mitochondria because of so many toxins, of so much of waste that hasn't been removed because you don't have antioxidants. So now, when you are damaging the energy factory, that also drops the energy level because there's less and less of ATP being made. So when you have antioxidants and you're eating proper foods, then you start getting new mitochondria being made. No, the mitochondria does not die. So now imagine you have an abundance and more mitochondria being built instead of being destroyed. So the more mitochondria is being produced, and you provide the nutrients, the acetyl-L-carnitine, glucose needs alpha-lipoic acid to convert it into energy. So you've got two sources of energy. You can take glucose and fat. Fat gives you a lot more energy than glucose, but you have to convert the fat. If you can convert the fat, you have another benefit. You lose weight, and you have energy. So you have less need of glucose. Another problem with glucose, if you've got cancer, you have to cut out the glucose because cancer lives on glucose. So when you don't have glucose, the cancer doesn't grow, which means the body now is using the fat rather, which is a better option for you, and you have more energy while the cancer is dying. So these are different options, or these are different benefits you have. There's a whole lot of B vitamins that the mitochondria also needs for the production of energy. So I've given you an example. Omega-3, very important for the cell. The cell is made of oil. You need that oil, so which is made from omega-3 oils. Sometimes there's abundance of other oils, omega-6 oils, which creates inflammation. So now you have the cells inflamed. So now your omega-3 is that anti-inflammatory. So these are the nutrients that you have to have present for helping your body produce energy and produce more new mitochondria. So these are the two steps to do, so that now this is reversing. So that's what aging means. Reverse aging means you're bringing your energy levels to the same level as you were at 20 or 30. So if you're at 60 or something, you're bringing it up again by doing two steps. One is you're building new mitochondria, you're stopping it from being damaged. And number two, you're providing the nutrients that actually increases the number of energy reserves, your currency. So the higher currency you have, the more energy you're going to have. Now, there's another thing you can also do, which is a known therapy as well, which is called low-level light therapies using infrared. So it's low level of infrared, which is currently used with lights and lasers. You'll see lights and lasers being used, or masks. You'll see people who've got skin problems, or who've gone through dermatologists, or have had been to having surgery in their face or on their skin, and then they put the masks on them. But the problem with this is that you have to put the mask for like 20 minutes a day for 12 weeks, and you have to go to the practitioner on a regular basis. It's a bit cumbersome. So there's another form of light therapy that you can use, which is called Lifewave patches, which is the Energy Enhancer patches, which uses your own body heat, and the patch traps the body heat. So there's your skin. The skin from your body, your heat is coming out, because you can see that heat comes out. When you put a jacket on and you want to keep yourself warm, what keeps you warm is the heat coming out of your body, and the jacket traps that heat and keeps you warm. So that heat now, you can put a patch on top of it. You put the patch on the body. It traps the heat and it has a crystal. So now it uses a crystal which sends the heat back into the body. Same as light and laser. Light and laser, you need electronics, you need a plug, you have to have electricity for that. You have to have, it's equipment, it's expensive. Whereas if you can use your own body's light and reflect it back into your body, that light now enters, let's say this is the mitochondria. You have that light entering the mitochondria. It actually, it increases the level of energy inside there, which means it raises the ATP even higher. So what have you got? You're producing new mitochondria, you're providing the nutrients, and you're adding light. So there's 3 steps you can do to actually increase your energy levels and have boundless energy. And that increases the levels of ATP. That's what you're looking for. You're wanting to build your reserves of ATP, not to build reserves of fat. The fat has to convert to ATP. So it has to go through this factory. And when you can do that, that's when you actually have the high levels of energy. Now, don't worry about it. If you need some help, I offer a 30-minute free health consultation, and you can book it with me on the links that is provided after the video. And then I will go over this with you on how to improve your energy. So what are the benefits here? So when your ATP drops, your body doesn't make proteins as fast as it used to make. It doesn't make hormones as fast as it used to make. Your recovery is very slow and you're fatigued. But when you got your ATP, your body starts making more proteins, which means it replaces damaged protein. Your hormones are being replaced. So you've got new hormones being made. So the hormones are being balanced. Your body recovers. So if you've done exercise and you need to recover, it recovers faster and the fatigue goes away. All right. So what do you do? So you need to also support your body as well. So you need to stress. You need to remove stress. So if there's any stress, you need to find ways of relaxing. If there's toxins, as I said, you need antioxidants, which you get out of your foods, your vegetables, your green, all your colored vegetables, so that antioxidants, but you take supplementation as well, CoQ10, vitamin C, vitamin E, glutathione, those are your antioxidants. You do some exercise, even some walking, just to get blood circulation going. That helps a lot. You can do resistance training, so get some form of exercise. It doesn't have to be high level exercise, it can be low level exercise. And also have enough sleep, at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep a day. If you're having problems sleeping, it's probably because you're missing electrolytes. You need calcium, magnesium, potassium, and sodium. You have to increase your electrolytes. You have to provide the same, because the body also needs the cells. Every cell needs electrolytes for the movement of nutrients going in and the movement of toxins leaving out, the waste. And so these are the things that help. Now, maybe there's a lot I've spoken about. Speak to me. I will take you step by step to bring you back, to take you from going downhill and going uphill. I have helped many people at the old age, 50, 60 and 70s, where the energy levels have increased and are very thankful about it. So rest assured, you too can actually experience the same thing. You just have to follow what I advise, and you will see for yourself that your energy levels are getting better as long as you do this. I thank you for listening. I hope you've learned something. I hope you can apply it. And I'm very happy to meet with you should you need more information. I've got other videos on it as well, which you can watch in my YouTube channel. You can subscribe for me so that you know when new content is made, something of value that you can have, something you can learn. And share the video. If you know anybody who's got these problems, share the video as well. Thank you. I look forward to meeting you.